Over the last couple of weeks, the Minnesota Senate has held committee hearings down in St. Paul on a Minnesota Vikings stadium. Now, across the great state of Minnesota, we got Vikings fans from every corner, including many right here in the Lakes area. But what was most interesting about the second of these Senate committee hearings was the one on financing, the most recent one held last Tuesday. At that Senate meeting, White Earth Tribal Chairwoman Irma Visner pitched a proposal to that committee in which they asked for a tribal-run casino to be built where the Vikings would want their Arden Hills location to be run by the White Earth Reservation. Now, gambling will most likely be part of any overall solution when it comes to a Viking stadium. Recently, just before Thanksgiving, I actually had local representative Maury Lanning from Moorhead join me on my radio show 1340 KDLM Lakes Live. During that conversation, we talked about why a special session wasn't able to be called prior to Thanksgiving as Governor Dayton wanted. And we talked about several scenarios that could finally come out of an eventual bill for a Viking stadium. In that conversation, Representative Lanning made several things very poignant. Number one, a stadium will not be built without some kind of public subsidy or public money. An NFL stadium has not been built without that in the last 30 years. Minnesota will not be an exception to that. If there will be no public money used in some capacity, he says the Vikings will surely leave. Number two, he said Ziggy Wolf will never sell the Minnesota Vikings, will never move the Minnesota Vikings, but would sell the Minnesota Vikings to an owner that would most likely move them. Also at these hearings, the Minnesota Vikings for the first time publicly did acknowledge that other cities had contacted them with interest in moving the Minnesota Vikings to their locations. And so we've had these meetings many times. Also, Representative Lanning assured me that this would most likely have to get done in some form of special session before the regular Minnesota legislatures meet in January, because if it goes on till late January and gets mixed in with everything else the state has to do, he doesn't feel a solution would come out till late May. And by then, that might be too late as far as the Minnesota Vikings are concerned. But out of the blue, well, out of the blue to most people, I would say, the White Earth Tribal Nation volunteered building a casino in the Arden Hills area. So what could that mean for both the White Earth Tribal Nation, the Minnesota Vikings, and the state of Minnesota in general? Obviously, it could provide a source of revenue. During the proposal, the White Earth Tribal Chairwoman Irma Visner said, according to their numbers, a stadium could bring in, with that casino next to it in Arden Hills, approximately $300 million in revenue. They would be willing to split half that revenue with the state of Minnesota, not to mention payroll taxes and other taxes that would come out of the stadium in general. They proposed something that would be 450 to 500 rooms there at the Arden Hills location, and at that Arden Hills location, they would propose around 150 tables, 4,000 slot machines. Now, I've been pretty impressed personally with the Shooting Star Casino in Monoman. Given the rural location and everything it offers, I think it's a pretty good deal. And I certainly think if the White Earth Tribal Nation had a casino down in the Twin Cities area, it would greatly benefit the tribe financially and allow them to make a larger dent in the market. After all, for years, the Mdewakan Sioux casinos at Mystic Lake have proven to be so profitable due to how close they are to Minnesota's major population center, the Twin Cities market. So I have no doubt if White Earth is able to get permission to build a casino over there, it would do very well. It would be a revenue source for the state, and it also would provide money for the tribe. But if the state of Minnesota is interested in expanding gambling off the reservations, why wouldn't they just build a state-run casino themselves in Block E and keep all the money for the Viking Stadium and for other statewide needs? That, I think, would be a smarter and more realistic scenario. Now, of course, some people say by letting White Earth have the casino, you keep Native Americans in charge of gambling, something they say, frankly, that they have a monopoly on in the state. Well, the state has never promised the tribes a monopoly on gaming. What do you think when you go buy a state lottery ticket? You play Powerball or you buy pull tabs at the bar? Gaming is not exclusive to the tribes. It is something that we all take part in at the state level. So we'll have to see how this eventually turns out. But I'll tell you what, the White Earth Tribal Casino idea got a lot more attention in northwestern Minnesota as it did opposed to the Twin Cities, which makes me think it's probably not a real solution.